The red dots on this global map represent cities having a population of at least 1 million people in 2006. The red dots show that cities with at least 1 million residents are more widespread in Eastern Asia. Only 5 cities in Australia have populations of more than 1 million. There are more cities with at least 1 million residents in Asia than in Australia, according to the map. The production of palm oil in Indonesia and Malaysia is depicted in this bar graph. From 1996 to 2008, the number of Malaysians has steadily risen on the graph. However, Indonesia's output of palm oil was smaller than Malaysia's at the time, but it has since expanded considerably to the point where it began to overtake Malaysia's in 2006. It is in 2008 when Indonesia and Malaysia achieved their highest points in history. An overview of palm oil production trends in Indonesia and Malaysia is provided by this graph. This image is showing a bird eating from a bird feeder. The materials used to make this bird feeder are shown on the upper left corner of the image. These materials are an empty clear bottle with 2 holes, a bottle cap with a small hook on the top, and 2 wooden spoons. The main image shows the wooden spoons inserted through the holes, acting as a ledge that birds can perch on. The holes also allow the bird food to escape the bottle. Overall, the image is showing a simple way of creating your own bird feeder. 3 points answer. This image is showing a bird eating from a bird feeder. The materials used to make this bird feeder are shown on the upper left corner of the image. These materials are an empty clear bottle with 2 holes, and 2 wooden spoons. 1 point answer. This image is showing a bird eating from a bird feeder. The provided multicolor atlas and bar graph depict the world's population, which is estimated to be in the billions, separated into several socio-economic levels. The information was obtained and analyzed between 1960 and 2004. It is obvious from the map and graph that the population of low-income people was roughly 1.5 million in 1960 and around 3 million in 2004. When it comes to the population classified as middle income, it has increased from roughly 0.8 million to 2.4 million people. Overall, the atlas reveals that the majority of countries in the globe are classified as middle income. It's worth noting that in the 1990s, China and Indonesia were classified as middle income countries. Homelessness in the United States is shown in a pie chart by racial and ethnic group. White non-Hispanics make up 40.6% of the homeless population, followed by black non-Hispanics at 39.6%. 7.9% of the population is Native American, while 10.9% of the population is Hispanic. Non-Hispanic whites and blacks make up the majority of the homeless population, while Native Americans and Hispanics make up the minority. The figure is a line graph showing the depression probabilities in humans as they grow. The scale of the age starts from teenage, that is 16, and ends at 70. The probability of depression is mentioned in decimals from 0.001 to 0.023. The line takes a curved shape as it starts, reaches its peak, and finally ends. At the age of 16, the depression probability is the least, which is close to 0.003, but is gradually increasing as the age advances. The peak of depression shown stays between the age of 40 and 48 years, and then on, it drops significantly to approximately 0.007 when a person reaches in his 70s. Overall, we can conclude that the probability of being depressed is more during the middle age and is least in teenage and old age. This graph shows the percentage of people aged 15 and over who are inactive, broken down by gender and age group. The 15 to 19 age bracket has the highest overall inactive percentage, at 40.3%. Only 3.2% and 3.0% of the 35 to 39 and 40 to 44 age groups fall into this category, respectively. Females have a greater rate of inactivity than males of all ages. The most sedentary age group is 15 to 19 years old, with females being more sedentary than males. The geological image depicts the Earth in three-dimensional cross-sections. In the image, there are multiple layers with various color tones. The blue layer is referred to be the atmosphere, while the layer immediately after it is referred to as the crust. The mantle layer makes up the center half of the Earth, whereas the outer and inner core make up the outer and inner core. There's also a triangle-shaped part that delves further into the strata. Oceanic crust and continental crust are the topmost layers, followed by the upper mantle. The mantle continues down to meet the Earth's outer core. Overall, we may deduce that the planet is made up of several strata of varying thicknesses. The bar graph depicts the day-to-day fluctuations in the number of people using the London Underground. The station is rarely more than 100% full at any one time of day. At the station's busiest periods, which are 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., there are about 400 people. This isn't unexpected, given that these are the hours when most people are either on their way to work or have just arrived home from it. As a rule, the station is least congested between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. each day. 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, are peak hours for traffic. In L, the chart depicts the amount of fuel used by each generator. The graph indicates how many hours each generator has run. Generator B used the greatest fuel, about 210 L, whereas Generator A used the least fuel, approximately 115 L, around 124 L. 96 hours. Generator E had the maximum running time, while Generator D had the least, less than 24 hours, 68 hours. Overall, Generator B used the most gasoline while Generator E ran the longest. This photograph depicts many aspects of a Stone Age dwelling. The triangular-shaped thick thatch encloses the wattle and daub-built dwelling. There are logs for sitting, beds, and a main fireplace in the inside of the house. Additionally, there is a place where meats and fish may be smoked and preserved. There is no need for a chimney because the thatch releases the smoke. A Stone Age home has a variety of characteristics, including thick thatch and logs. The graph depicts the proportion of businesses of various sizes. With a population of 50 to 149, medium-sized businesses account for 36% of the total, followed by the tiny businesses with a population of 0 to 49. The share of businesses with more than 150 employees is the lowest, at 30%. In the end, the percentage of businesses of various sizes is about the same. This is a comparison of the number of people who saw a film at a cinema in each country. At 24.5 million, India has the biggest number of cinemagoers in the world. Action was the most popular genre in India, while horror was the least popular, at 2.5 million. Despite this, Japan is the country with the lowest number of cinemagoers, at 17.8 million. At 7.1 million viewers, action was the most popular genre, while horror was the least popular, at 2.2 million. In terms of total number of moviegoers, India has the largest number while Japan has the lowest. The flowchart depicts the many phases involved in the generation of power by solar panels. Solar panels on the roof capture the sun's rays, which are then transported and converted to alternating electricity by the inverter. To distribute the power to various lights and appliances, it first passes via a fuse box. Renewable energy from the sun is generated by solar panels and distributed through a network of transmission lines. Everyone has a choice of flavor in ice creams. Above is the graph, which shows the favorite ice cream flavors people like. The least liked ice cream flavor is cookies and cream. The most liked ice cream is vanilla. Chocolate and strawberry got an average response compared to other two flavors. Overall, 12 people liked vanilla, 8 people liked chocolate, 5 people liked cookies and cream, 9 people liked strawberry, and 11 people liked other. An apple tree's life cycle is depicted in this illustration. When a tree reaches full maturity, it produces fruit that carries seeds. Soil and water are required for the seeds to germinate. At the top and bottom of the growing seed, it develops leaves and roots. The seedling develops into a little tree after only a few days of growing. When an apple tree is large enough to produce fruit, it begins a new life cycle. Finally, this life cycle is seen in most trees. As you can see on this map, there is a lot of garbage soup across the planet. To the east of Japan, the eastern rubbish patch is located, while to the east of Hawaii, lies the western garbage patch. Translucent sludge of deteriorating plastic debris composes these rubbish swaths. The North Pacific Gyre Current is responsible for keeping this soup in motion. The map's title, Out of Sight, Out of Mind, suggests that these places of garbage soup are not well known. The complex process of how a paper is made from plants is described in the image. The process starts with radiator pine thinning that undergoes the procedure of debarking drum where the bark of the trees is removed. Once the bark is removed, the material goes into chipper where the material is probably finely chopped. The further step is thermomechanical refiner where some water is added to make the material almost ready. The final step described in the image, the paper making machine where the final product is made. Overall, I can say that the procedure to make a paper out of a tree is complex. The percentage of people living in urban areas in 2003 and 2030 is depicted in this bar graph. In 2003, North America had the highest percentage of its people living in urban settings, 80%, while Africa had the lowest, 39%. South America, 83%, and Africa, 53%, are predicted to have the biggest percentage of their populations living in urban areas in 2030, respectively. All continents are expected to see a rise in the percentage of people living in urban areas. India's land usage is depicted on this map. Colors of yellow and green show the quantity of arable land and forest in India, respectively. The color orange indicates that a large quantity of unproductive land is concentrated in the northernmost part of the map. Non-agricultural terrain is shown by the red coloration towards the northeast. The great bulk of India's land is either used for agriculture or is covered in forest.